All right, let's jump right in. We're going to tackle a huge question today. What really separates a good leader from a truly great one? And spoiler alert, it's not some new management fad or a fancy degree. Nope, it's something way more personal. It's all about the architecture of you.
So where do we even start with something that big? Well, we start with a problem, a really common one, actually. See, there's this critical blind spot that trips up so many leaders, even the ones with tons of training. It's a challenge that, honestly, anyone in a position of influence faces.
So let's just put it out there. What do you think it is? I mean, really think about it. With all the leadership books, all the seminars, all the courses out there, what's that one thing that just keeps getting missed?
You ready for it? It's themselves. Yeah, that's simple and that profound. A leader's biggest blind spot is the person looking back at them in the mirror. You can learn every strategy in the book, but if you don't truly understand your own personality, what drives you, your own patterns, you're basically leading with one eye closed. See, real growth as a leader, that's an inside job. Okay, so if that's the problem, how do you fix it? How do you start to deal with that massive blind spot? Well, this is where the journey really begins. And to show you how, we're going to look at day one of a leadership program, specifically something called the talent assessment. Think of it as our case study for how you start building leadership from the inside out. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Self-discovery sounds a little fluffy, right? A bit abstract. But in this context, it's anything but. What we're talking about here is making a real, tangible connection between what's going on inside you, your personality, your motivations, and what you actually do as a leader. It's that moment where insight becomes strategy. But for any of this to work, you gotta buy in. You have to commit to 3, let's call them foundational principles. First up is openness. You have to be willing to learn, even when it gets uncomfortable. Next is honesty, and that means being truthful with yourself about what you're good at and what you're not. And finally, self-reflection. You have to actually take the time to pause and understand why you do the things you do.
Okay, with those principles in mind, let's get to the main event of day one, creating what we can call a personality blueprint. This is where you use those well-known assessment tools. You've probably heard of them, like Myers-Briggs, Hogan, or DISC. The whole point is to map out your unique leadership style. This blueprint gives you a super clear picture of your natural tendencies, how you prefer to communicate, and your default settings for making decisions.
And this really shows you the big difference between this approach and more traditional training, right? Most programs, they focus on the external stuff, the what you do. But this starts from the inside with self-reflection. It's all about the who you are, and it's built on a pretty simple but powerful idea. Who you are is what drives what you do. It's the foundation for everything else.
And listen, this isn't about labeling people or stuffing them into a box. Not at all. The real goal, as the program itself says, is to create a shared understanding. It's about giving the whole team a common language to talk about different work styles, what motivates each person, and what stresses them out. When you have that, that's when you get real collaboration and empathy. But look, having all these aha moments about yourself is great, but it's only half the battle, right? An insight without action is just a fun fact. The whole point, the ultimate goal, is to make these personal realizations useful in your everyday work. It is all about connecting that insight to real-world action.
So then the path to growth really starts to take shape, you see? It all kicks off with your own self-discovery. Once you have those personal insights, you can use them to build a shared understanding with your team. And once you have that strong foundation, that's when you can build practical, effective strategies to crush those leadership challenges together.
So we've just walked through what day one of a formal program looks like. But here's the thing, the principles we talked about, they apply to absolutely everyone. This journey of self-discovery doesn't need a fancy classroom to get started. In fact, it can start right here, right now. All it takes is asking yourself the right question.
So I'm going to leave you with a question to kickstart your own journey. And I want you to really think about this one. What is the one core belief that drives your leadership decisions day in and day out? Knowing the answer to that, well, that's the first real step on your path to becoming a leader who's not just effective, but truly self-aware.